Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be analysing and predicting what is going to happen in this championship promotion race. So let's start off with outsiders Southampton. So Southampton currently sit 9 points behind both Leeds and Ipswich, but with Leeds they've got 2 games in hand, so they could cut that down to 3, and with Ipswich they've got 1 game in hand, so they could get cut down to 6. They sit 10 points behind Leicester, but again they've got that game in hand, so they can get cut down to 7. But Southampton do still have to play both Leeds and Leicester, so this can get cut down to 4 points and goal difference respectively. Obviously Leeds would still have to drop points somewhere else in my opinion, as that 17 goal difference almost acts like a point at this point in the season. And that's the same really for Leicester, where they need them to slip up and lose 5 points because they're 17 goals behind them, so that'd be a loss and a draw somewhere. And if they win every game, Ipswich would have to lose twice and a goal difference of 6 in order to go below them. So for me, I think their main targets have got to be Leicester and Leeds, as they can have more of an impact on what goes on there. Now on to Southampton, who obviously play 3 home games and 3 away games in their last 6 matches. Their 3 home games are fairly winnable. I think their only one they're going to struggle with is going to be Watford under Tom Cleverley. They look a revived side, but I do think they're going to pick up 3 points in both of their other home matches. It's the away matches now. I think they'll be fine against Cardiff. It's Leicester and Leeds. These games could either make or break their running. Obviously, I think they're going to lose both of them because Leicester look a good side at the minute. They seem to have got over their little blip they had a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, they did lose last night, but that was a bit of a freak goal from Millwall, an unbelievable strike. But as for Leeds, no one's won at Ellen Road all season. Nothing's going to make me start thinking that's going to change at any point now. But is this going to be enough? I'm not sure. On to Ipswich now, who currently sit level on points with Leeds, but with a game in hand, they could go 3 points clear in the automatic promotion spot. They do sit 1 point below Leicester and would require them to drop points if that was to be overturned. They don't play anyone else in the top 4, which can be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, they can't harm anybody else, but no one else can harm them. And in the situation that they're in, I think that probably benefits them, as they are they're not going to be playing any massive matches now. Obviously, they're going to have some couple of tough games here or there, but they're not going to be playing any of the top sides. So I think that is a good thing. But anyway, let's get on to the predictions of what is going to happen in these matches. Now, as I say, I don't think anyone's going to go perfect in their last few matches, but I think Ipswich are going to do a very good job here. And I think they're going to beat Watford, but I say the ones that I'm not too sure about are the Watford and the Hull games. That could easily be flipped around. They could easily draw against Watford and go and beat Hull, but I've gone with that way round because I think Hull could still be playing for something. Watford are fairly safe now, so they might take their foot off the gas a little bit. Middlesbrough, I think that would be a very tough game, but again, the team not playing for much. And the Coventry game all depends on what Coventry are playing for again, because if they're still in amongst the playoff picture, we know what they can do against the top sides. They've done it to Leicester already this season. Obviously, a narrow defeat to Southampton last night will never help things for them, but if they can get themselves back on track, they could be playing for something in this game, and therefore they could go and do a number over Ipswich. Now, this final game looks easier than it is for me because, again, Huddersfield are going to be a team that are playing for something down in that relegation zone. They can be such a dangerous side for teams at this point in the season, as they're going to be giving it absolutely everything. And I think they're almost tougher than a side like Middlesbrough. But I think Ipswich can get past them. So I say, will that be enough? Let's get on to Leeds now. So Leeds now, they have the same situation as Ipswich, but they would require Ipswich to lose, as they have got that game in hand on them. But it would only be a loss because Leeds' goal difference is far superior to Ipswich's. So that can be seen as a good thing at least. I think that Leicester are a little bit too hard to catch at this moment in time. Leicester would need to slip up twice, and they'd have to, if it was only 2 draws, they'd still have to keep that 1 gap in the goal difference higher. So it's really not a lot. They'd probably need Leicester to lose once and draw once if they were to go up as champions. And that would also mean that Leeds would have to go perfect, which I can't see them doing. But let's get on to the games now and what I think is going to happen in them. Obviously, Leeds have only got 4 games, which is definitely a good thing for them. That means they've got not as much workload. They can take each match one at a time. And a lot of them are favourable fixtures. Obviously, they've got a real tough game in there. And I think they've got a potential banana skin. Now, obviously, at Ellen Road, I'd be stupid not to back them to win. So I've gone with Blackburn wins and Southampton wins. QPR, if they're safe by that point, I think that can be a fairly routine win there, and it'd be one that they would definitely need. Middlesbrough, now I said that they were safe earlier and they're not going to be playing for much, but I just think they're going to throw up a banana skin, and in all that run, obviously Southampton is the big game and it could be one that decides who gets promoted, but I just think that Middlesbrough versus Leeds is going to be the game that Leeds do slip up in. Now, is that going to be enough to get promoted automatically? We will see in a minute. Over to Leicester now. If they win every game, they can win the league, guaranteed. Now, I know that sounds a bit Michael-only, but it is the truth at this moment in the time. They're in charge of what happens in the rest of the league. Now, if they slip up, they're inviting teams, well, a team like Ipswich to go in and go in above them. They can lose a game and still get promoted. And I think that's a real good position to be in at this moment in time, especially with the level of fixtures they've got coming up. It's going to be a real tough time for them, but if they can get through it, then they definitely deserve to be in the Premier League. But let's get into the games, into what I think is going to happen. So obviously, as you can see here, Leicester do play 3 of their last 5 matches at home, which is always a good thing. I've predicted them to pick 7 points up at home and only 3 away. I think they do beat Plymouth next time out, but it can be a real tough game, and obviously they've got no easy games in these last 5 matches, so it could all be wrong here. But I think that Plymouth are not going to have the same level of quality as Leicester, but they are a team that's still fighting for something. So take that result with a pinch of salt. I think that Leicester could get shocked here, and it wouldn't surprise me. And next up is Leicester versus West Brom. Now, I think that the Baggies this season have been unbelievable, and I think it's going to be a real tough game for them. Obviously, Leicester could go and win this game 2-0, but I can just see West Brom getting something from this game, and I mean a massive point for them in their quest for the playoffs. Now, next up, they play Southampton. I just think Southampton are a little bit hit and miss. They haven't done amazingly against the top sides this year. Obviously, letting Ipswich do the double over them is never good for a team that's trying to get promotion. So I do think Leicester are going to win here. I'm going to go with a pretty narrow win, but I do think Leicester will win it. On to the game where I think they're going to lose. At Deepdale, it's a tough place to go at the best of times, but I think Preston, they're a good side. And I think if there's going to be one game that they lose in it, it's going to be this one. I just think that it's going to be one of those games where neither side is playing very well and Preston just nick a goal. And on the final day, I do think they beat Blackburn despite it being a really tough game, because I think Blackburn are still going to be having something to play for on that final day. But let's have a look and see how that would shape up the league come the end of the season. So as you can see, Southampton would finish in 4th on 91 points, which is an outrageous amount of points to finish on and not get promoted. Next up, it would be Leeds on 93 points and would be having nothing to play for on the final day despite getting that amazing points figure. Now next up, it is Ipswich, who would get 97 points and would finish 1 point off of Leicester, and Leicester would win the league on 98 points. Now, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. I'm interested in hearing everyone's point of view, but if you have enjoyed, more importantly, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in a bit. Thanks for watching.